Parts of Florida this morning are under a state of emergency that caused toxic algae. Some people along the Treasure Coast blame water from Florida's biggest lake. The Army Corps of Engineers plans to cut its flow by about 35%. Omar Villafranca shows us how the holiday weekend will be affected. He is at a beach in Stuart, Florida. Omar, good morning.
Good morning. Usually the water here is clear and blue at Bathtub Beach, but it's got a little bit of a greenish tint. And let me show you what this stuff looks like up close. Inside, you can see some of those green globules floating around. And this algae is dangerous to people. That's why many of the beaches around here will be closed for the busy 4th of July weekend.
The goopy blue-green algae blooms have turned many southeast Florida waterways into a thick, poisonous soup.
It's just putrid. I mean, it just gags you.
Would you swim in this?
No way, I wouldn't even put my foot in it.
Irene Gomes, owner of the Driftwood Motel in Jensen Beach, says the blooms are the worst she's ever seen and scaring away her customers.
How much business have you lost in the last few days?
Well, just from one group of relatives that were coming in together, it was $1,000.
Florida Governor Rick Scott declared a state of emergency in Palm Beach, Lee, Martin, and St. Lucie counties. He blamed water released from Lake Okeechobee, the largest freshwater body in the state. The lake has high levels of phosphorus and nitrogen from fertilizer, animal feed, and human waste, nutrients that algae thrive on. Okeechobee also has a deadly history of flooding and is kept in check by an aging earthen dike. To reduce pressure on the levee, the Army Corps of Engineers must drain some of the lake water into the St. Lucie estuary, one of the areas now inundated by the algae.
Cutting back the flows might allow some of the salt water to come in and maybe flush things out just a little bit.
Some experts say the outbreak can also be traced to septic tanks and rainwater runoff along the Florida coast. Also known as cyanobacteria, the algae occurs naturally. But in huge concentrations, the tiny organisms are deadly to fish and other wildlife.
Clean out your nose, buddy.
This manatee was choking on the bloom.
It's pathetic. It really is to sit there and see an animal just being poisoned to death, basically.
Signs now warn swimmers to stay away because the algae can cause stomach problems and skin irritation to humans.
I don't want her playing here right now.
Gomes says she's worried about her granddaughter.
You don't let her near the water.
No, I can't.
How come?
Because I can't take that kind of risk. I just can't have her, any of my grandchildren out there. It's just not happening. Not taking them.
Usually at this time, people are starting to show up to the beach and stake their claim with the beach towel. But as you can see behind me, no one is really here because the algae is still in the water and people aren't sure how long the algae will be in the water. It could be a few days or even a few weeks. Nora?
Yikes. All right, Omar, that's kind of a bummer.
I know. So we've had water you can swim in that looks like a toilet or swimming in guacamole. Nothing is very attractive this morning.
Might be a pool weekend.
Yes, that's right.